All right, let's dive into something that feels, well, timeless, but also super modern. We're going to explore a solution for finding focus in a world that just feels like it's designed to steal it right from under our noses.
So, does this sound familiar? I mean, you sit down, you're ready to tackle one important thing, and then, ding, your phone buzzes, emails start flooding in, and just like that, your attention is shattered into a million little pieces. It's exhausting, right?
It feels like a constant battle. You've got your goals, you know what's important to you, but the world is just so loud. You've got the news, social media, this never-ending fire hose of information, and it all just seems to get in the way. But what if the secret to all this modern-day peace we're looking for isn't some new app or productivity hack? What if it's actually ancient wisdom? I mean, really ancient, like over 2,000 years old. It's a pretty wild thought, isn't it?
So yeah, that's really the core idea behind Darius Foroux's work. He takes this ancient wisdom of Stoicism and kind of boils it down into a practical guide for today. So let's break it down and see how this philosophy can actually help us deal with modern life. Okay, so the absolute foundation, the cornerstone of all of Stoicism is this one big idea. It's called the dichotomy of control. And honestly, the best way to think about it is like it's the operating system for your mind, the software you run to stay resilient and focused. And it's so beautifully simple. In literally any situation you're in, there are two buckets of things, stuff you can control and stuff you can't. That's it. The genius of the Stoics was realizing that our entire peace of mind, our happiness, it all hinges on knowing which bucket to put things in. And this lays it out perfectly. Look at that left column, all the stuff you can't control. What other people think, the economy, what happened yesterday, the weather. We waste so much energy fretting about this stuff. But now look at the right, your perspective, your actions, your effort. This is where all your power is. It's the only game in town, the only place to invest your precious focus.
And here's what's at stake. This is the real cost of getting it wrong. Every single minute you spend angry about something you can't control, like traffic, or stressing about a mistake you made last week, that's a minute of your most valuable resource, your time. Gone. Poof. Wasted.
Okay, so how do we actually put this into practice? Where do we start? Well, we start with our own inner world, our own minds. Because let's be honest, the loudest, most chaotic noise isn't usually coming from the outside. It's coming from right between our ears. The author, Darius Foroux, tells this really relatable story. He had a rough patch. He was facing all these challenges, feeling totally discouraged. And that little voice in his head telling him to just quit, to give up on his entire writing career was getting louder and louder. But then, right in that moment of near despair, he had this breakthrough. He realized that voice in his head, it's just telling a story about failure. And he recognized just how powerful that story was. He thought, wow, if my mind is strong enough to convince me to quit, then that same mind must be strong enough to convince me to persevere. And that, right there, is the dichotomy of control in action. See, he couldn't control the outside challenges, but he could absolutely control the inner narrative. He could choose the story of perseverance. So, what's a tool for this? Well, one of the most powerful ones comes straight from the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius himself. Journaling. But listen, this isn't your Dear Diary from when you were a kid. This is active self-awareness. It's about observing your own mind. You catch an unhelpful thought like, I can't do this, and you write it down. Then you challenge it right there on the page. Wait a second. Is that really true? What's a better way to look at this? It transforms you from being a victim of your thoughts to an observer of them. You start learning from things instead of just dwelling on them. And this quote from Marcus Aurelius just nails it. The thing that happens to you isn't what hurts you. It's your opinion about the thing that hurts you. Think about that. If you can change your judgment, you can literally change your experience. All right, so we've been talking about the inner world. Now let's take this exact same principle and apply it to the outer world. Our careers, our money, and all that stuff we're constantly told we need to buy to be happy. Foroux tells another great story on himself. He went out and bought this big, cool SUV. And the story he told himself was, oh, it's for all the road trips I'm going to take. But when he was honest about it, he realized it was a totally emotional purchase. It was driven by this image of who he thought he should be, not what he actually needed. And this is the Stoic view on all that stuff in a nutshell. Your self-worth, it comes from your character, from who you are, not from what you own. Possessions come and go. They're temporary. But your virtues, like honesty, courage, discipline, those are enduring. Look, it's fine to enjoy nice things. The Stoics weren't against that. But they were crystal clear. Never, ever attach your sense of self to them. Let people admire you, not your furniture.
But is it really that simple? I mean, let's be real. In the world we live in, the things we own are often tied up with our identity, our status, how other people see us. It's not always so easy to just separate yourself from your stuff, is it?
And it's cool because the source material actually gets into this. It points out that some research shows our possessions can be important symbols of our achievements or our connection to a community. So yeah, the Stoic ideal is incredibly powerful, but it's also good to remember that the real world has a few more shades of gray.
Okay, so how do we pull all of this together into something we can actually use, like right now? Let's build your personal Stoic toolkit. Just 3 actionable practices for finding that inner peace.
Think of this as your daily Stoic workout. Step 1, question your thoughts. Don't just believe everything your brain tells you. Put it on trial. Step 2, focus your actions. Get absolutely ruthless about where you put your time and energy. If you can't directly influence it, you gotta let it go. And step 3, reframe your perspective. A challenge isn't a threat. It's an opportunity. It's a chance to get stronger. And if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. True happiness, it doesn't come from changing your surroundings. So many of us play that game, right? Oh, if I just get that promotion or move to that city, then I'll be happy. But the Stoics knew the truth. Real, lasting peace is an inside job. It comes from mastering your mindset, not your zip code.
I just love this final quote. It completely reframes what progress even means. You ask, what progress have I made? And the answer isn't about how much money you made or what you achieved. The answer is, I have begun to be a friend to myself. Wow. It's not about crushing it out there. It's about learning to be kind to yourself in here. So I'm going to leave you with this one question. Let's forget about the huge life changes for a minute. Just for today, what is one small thing? Your perspective on a frustrating email, your response when someone cuts you off in traffic, the effort you put into one task. What is one thing that you will choose to take complete 100% control over today? Because that's where it all starts.